Developing right now, a face-off now finalized. Former President Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris agreed to a primetime debate right here on ABC. The Northeast on alert, flood watches and warnings as the remnants of Debby barrel up the East Coast. And the stunning upset at the Summer Games. Team USA's Noah Lyles goes for gold with COVID. First, former President Trump makes his first public appearance since the debut of the new Democratic ticket, agreeing to that debate on ABC next month. Just moments ago, Vice President Harris saying she's looking forward to it. Trump also proposing 2 more showdowns with the vice president. Selina Wang with late reporting. Our other major headline, Debby takes aim at the Northeast after making a second landfall in the Carolinas, flooding, rains, and several reported tornadoes. And inside a collapsed home, first responders find a man dead. Good Samaritans race to help a woman trapped in her truck. Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, right up into New York City, all bracing for heavy rain and powerful winds. Victor Kendo reports from the storm zone. Our weather team times it all out. That shocking moment at the Summer Games, Team USA's Noah Lyles comes up short in his best event, seen winded before leaving the track in a wheelchair. Lyles later revealing he is battling COVID. James Longman standing by in Paris. The dramatic new body camera video from the attempted assassination of Donald Trump. You can see the moment an officer confronts the shooter on the roof right before he opened fire. Aaron Katersky reports. The chilling new details in the alleged terrorist plot targeting Taylor Swift concerts overseas. Authorities are now questioning a third teenager. The reported confession. What authorities now say the suspects were planning to do. Tragedy in the water. An athlete appears to drown after vanishing during a swim event at the CrossFit Games in Texas. Helpless spectators looking on in horror. Chaos on a Florida beach. A dust devil turns beach umbrellas into missiles. And America strong tonight, 1 year after the devastating fires on Maui. A community still rising from the ashes.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us on this Thursday. I'm Lindsay Davis in for David. We begin tonight with major developments in the race for the White House. Vice President Kamala Harris and Donald Trump confirmed their primetime debate here on ABC, set for September 10th, is officially on. Trump going before the cameras at Mar-a-Lago today, making his first public appearance since the introduction of the new Harris-Walz ticket. Trump not only agreeing to the ABC News debate, but challenging Vice President Harris to meet for 2 others next month. Trump on the attack, criticizing the vice president's intelligence and lodging complaints about coverage of the large crowds at her rallies. He also claimed abortion, a key focus of her campaign, will only be a small issue come November. And he was pressed, will there be a peaceful transfer of power if he loses? On the campaign trail today, Vice President Harris and Governor Tim Walz met with UAW members in Michigan. Their blitz of battleground states takes them to Phoenix, Arizona tomorrow. ABC's Selina Wang leads us off.
Tonight, it's official. Former President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris will face off in a primetime debate on ABC next month. The debate, one of 3 that Trump agreed to during a Mar-a-Lago press conference, his first public appearance since the debut of the new Democratic ticket.
I just look forward to these debates. I think it's very important that we have them. I think they'll be very revealing.
Trump challenging Harris to accept the other 2 proposed debates, insisting that he has not changed his campaign strategy to go after Harris and her vice presidential pick, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz.
We have somebody that hasn't received 1 vote for president, and she's running. And that's fine with me.
Harris had previously committed to the ABC News debate after replacing President Joe Biden as the nominee.
I'm glad that he's finally agreed to a debate on September 10th. I'm looking forward to it and hope he shows up.
Throughout the more than 1 hour-long press conference, Trump repeating false and misleading statements, including that no one died on January 6th. According to the Department of Justice, 5 people died during or after the attack, including 4 protesters and 1 police officer. Trump also bristling at the idea that the Democratic ticket is gaining more support than his own, as Harris and Walz barnstormed the battlegrounds.
They talk about, the enthusiasm. Let me tell you, we have the enthusiasm. The Republican Party, and me as a candidate, but the Republican Party has the enthusiasm because people want to see crime stopped.
Trump even suggesting that he attracts crowds larger than Martin Luther King Jr. did for his I Have a Dream speech.
I've spoken to the biggest crowds. Nobody's spoken to crowds bigger than me. If you look at Martin Luther King, when he did his speech, his great speech, and you look at ours, same real estate, same everything, same number of people, if not, we had more.
And asked about President Biden's warning that there would absolutely not be a peaceful transfer of power if Trump loses in November, Trump falsely claimed that there was in 2020 and there would be again, as long as the election is honest.
Of course there'll be a peaceful transfer, and there was last time, and there'll be a peaceful transfer. I just hope we're going to have honest elections.
And the vice president saying tonight that she's open to considering more debates, but only after the one on ABC News on September 10th. Harris also saying tonight that she wants to schedule an interview, a sit-down interview, before the end of the month. Lindsay?
Selina Wang from the White House. Thanks so much, Selina. David Muir and I will moderate the ABC News primetime debate between Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump on September 10th, right here on ABC. We move on now to Tropical Depression Debby, making its second landfall in South Carolina, spawning a deadly tornado and flood watches from South Carolina all the way to New York. The system expected to arrive in the Northeast by tomorrow, the storm triggering at least 12 reported tornadoes. Authorities say one person was killed when a tornado touched down in Wilson County, North Carolina. Dangerous flooding is expected from Washington, D.C. to Philadelphia, New York to Boston. ABC's Victor Kendo is in North Carolina.
Tonight, as Debby marches up the East Coast, the death toll is rising and the roads are treacherous. Overnight on Highway 74, west of Wilmington, North Carolina,
take a deep breath. I'm okay.
Storm chasers and other drivers, including a Marine veteran, springing into action, racing to rescue a woman after her car hydroplaned and flipped over, carefully guiding her out of harm's way.
It's a great relief. Yeah. I didn't expect to see somebody moving.
Debby blowing ashore just north of Charleston, its second landfall. Tropical torrential rain inundating neighborhoods. East of Raleigh, in Lucama, North Carolina, this middle school taking a direct hit from a confirmed tornado. First responders searching the classrooms inside. Not far from there, this home collapsing. Search and rescue teams working to lift and stabilize it, finally finding the homeowner inside, who sadly did not survive. Norman Toller lives nearby and saw the tornado touch down.
Look out the back door, and I dropped down to my knees and went to pray. I said, Lord, you know, I've worked all my life for what I got here. Please don't take it. And it went right in the backyard.
A devastating scene here in Lucama, and the threat is far from over. There's a tornado watch for the area until 8 p.m. and the possibility of flooding, even as Debby makes her way straight to the Northeast. Lindsay?
Debby still lashing out on the weather-weary. Victor, thank you. That system is expected to hit the Northeast tomorrow. Let's get right to meteorologist Lee Goldberg from our partner station WABC here in New York. Lee, what's the latest?
Well, Lindsay, Debby's finally on the move. You know, downgraded to a depression, but that doesn't diminish the impact it'll have through the mid-Atlantic and into the Northeast. We have flood watches that are out from the Carolinas all the way to New England. The tornado watch was now expanded from North Carolina all the way up into the D.C. area. So let's time this out for you. We have an active tornado warning north of Morehead City. The heaviest rain over North Carolina and Western Virginia tonight, into Baltimore and D.C. tomorrow morning, and really hammering central Pennsylvania, State College, Williamsport, even up to Elmira, New York. You do not want to be on I-87 during the afternoon hours tomorrow. Very heavy rain, and then the threat for flash flooding, damaging winds, even isolated tornadoes right down into the New York City area. The good news is it leaves the scene and we're back to beautiful weather, probably cleaning up though over the weekend. The highest risk of flash flooding from Harrisburg to Burlington, as Ginger always says, have two ways to get warnings. Lindsay?
Right, Lee, thank you. Now to that stunning headline from the Summer Games. American Noah Lyles collapsing after winning the bronze medal in the 200-meter race. Medical staff then rushing to his side. Moments later, Lyles confirmed he tested positive for COVID, but decided to run anyway. James Longman in Paris.
A shocking upset for Noah Lyles tonight, the newly minted Olympic champion taking bronze in the 200-meter final. It's his best event, and he was tipped for gold. But the Team USA star was running with COVID after testing positive on Tuesday.
This is where he gets to show his speed!
Botswana took gold, USA teammate Kenny Bednarek in silver, but moments after Lyles crossed the finish line, he was seen gasping for air on the ground. Medics rushed to his side before wheeling him out of the arena. Lyles is fresh off that stunning 100-meter victory. He won by 0.05 of a second. Days earlier, he told ABC News he hoped to break the world record in the 200 meters.
It's always the goal, being faster and faster. I have a desire that whatever I touch, I don't always want to be the best, but I want to change it by the time I leave.
Team USA has now raked in over 100 medals. Gold today for Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone, who broke her own world record in the 400-meter hurdles final. She's now the first woman to win back-to-back golds in the event.
And Lindsay Lyles is one of at least 40 athletes at these Olympics to have come down with COVID or another respiratory illness. In a statement, USA Track and Field say he underwent a thorough medical evaluation before the event and still chose to compete. They say they are monitoring his condition closely. Lindsay?
Wishing him a speedy recovery, James. Thank you. Tonight, newly released police body camera video reveals the chilling moments just before the attempted assassination of Donald Trump, including that confrontation on the roof. Here's ABC's Aaron Katersky.
This is the moment police in Butler, Pennsylvania first confront the gunman who opened fire on former President Trump. An officer is hoisted to the roof, sees the shooter, and falls back to the ground. The body camera audio starts moments later.
This close, bro. Dude, he turned around on me. He's straight up.
Heavily armed police race toward the building.
Next.
Some scaling this plastic shed to reach the roof. The officer who confronted the shooter describing what he saw.
He's got a book bag. He's got mag. AR laying down. He's laying down, prone out, book bag next to him. But watch out, because he can come right down on you over there.
Those officers scrambling to locate the shooter.
This building, he was on top of this building, the left one.
Finding him after several tense minutes. By then, the gunman, 20-year-old Thomas Crooks, is dead.
One in custody, HR building south, rooftop.
Another officer's body camera capturing a wounded victim carried from the rally site. When the chaos subsides, some police openly question how the shooter had access to a rooftop 400 feet from the former president.
I told them to post guys over here. I wasn't even concerned about it because I thought someone was on the roof. I thought that's how we, like, how can you lose a guy walking back here? They were on the roof. They were inside.
Why were we not
in the building?
Why were we not on the roof?
We've also had a look tonight, Lindsay, at some newly released documents that show Thomas Crooks visited a shooting range more than 40 times prior to the rally, including a final visit just the day before. Lindsay?
Aaron Katersky, thank you. Next tonight, chilling new details about the alleged terror plot targeting Taylor Swift's concert tour in Vienna. 2 suspects now under arrest, a third teenager questioned. Authorities say a 19-year-old has confessed that they plan to use knives and explosives to kill as many people as possible. Here's ABC's Maggie Ruley.
Tonight, just 24 hours after Taylor Swift's sold-out concerts in Vienna were canceled. Officials releasing this chilling photo of the 19-year-old Austrian suspect they say hoped to kill as many people as possible outside the stadium. The teen, who is seen with machetes in hand wearing an ISIS flag, has allegedly confessed to planning a suicide attack, according to authorities, who say the terror cell wanted to create a bloodbath, copying ISIS attacks like those at concerts in Moscow, Paris, and Manchester.
Protecting soft targets, these high-profile events, this has become a major security concern. You're never going to have 100% security.
Police say they found knives, timers, and explosives inside the suspect's home. And a suspected accomplice, 17-year-old Austrian, was arrested at the stadium where he had just taken a job. A 15-year-old Turkish citizen was also questioned. On the streets of Vienna today, Swifties putting on their own concert.
When the news got out that it was canceled, there were a lot of tears, but I'm happy that with other people are feeling the same and we're having a lot of fun together.
And Lindsay, just 1 week from tonight, Taylor Swift will wrap up the international leg of her Eras tour right here in London, where 500,000 fans are expected over 5 days. Just today, the mayor of London said the plan is to carry on and have those concerts go ahead as scheduled. Lindsay?
Maggie, thank you. Back here in the U.S. tonight, tragedy at the CrossFit Games in Texas. An athlete appears to have drowned while swimming across a lake in Fort Worth. Here's ABC's Mireya Villarreal.
Tonight, tragedy at the annual CrossFit Games in Fort Worth, Texas. A swimmer in distress appearing to drown near the finish line of the first event.
We got called out this morning, originally about 8 o'clock for an assist PD call. It ended up being a participant in the water that was down.
First responders using divers and drones to search Marine Creek Lake, locating the body of 28-year-old Lazar Dukic of Serbia, seen in a video posted by CrossFit before the competition.
Well, he started to doing small turns and he was trying to get his head out of the water. And it was at that time that we started screaming to the lifeguard, like, he needs help. And then within seconds, he was under and he never came back up.
Tonight, the CEO says a safety plan and staff were in place at the time and that CrossFit is cooperating with authorities in their investigation.
A lot of people are mourning, and we want to do everything we can to support the community, to support the family.
Lindsay, all of the games and activities were canceled for today, and tonight a new statement from CrossFit. They are saying our hearts are with Lazar's entire family, friends, and also fellow athletes. Lindsay?
CEO saying he is gutted. Mireya, thank you. Tonight, the stock market mounting a comeback thanks to encouraging news about the labor market. Dow jumping 683 points, moving back above 39,000. Investors responding to lower than expected jobless claims. The Nasdaq staging a comeback of its own, soaring 464 points, and the S&P 500 posting a gain of 119 points, its best day since 2022. When we come back, the nationwide listeria outbreak linked to deli meat spreads. The incredible images, a powerful dust devil sends umbrellas flying at a Florida beach. And 1 year later, we're in Maui, where a community rises from the ashes. Next tonight, a listeria outbreak linked to some deli meats is spreading. 9 new cases and 1 death have been reported in the past week, raising the total to 43 cases and 3 deaths. CDC officials have traced the source of the outbreak to deli meats. More than 7 million pounds have been recalled. When we come back, the stunning images, a dust devil upends a day at the beach in Florida, and the big day in San Diego. The giant pandas make their public debut. To the index now, a day at the beach turned to chaos in northern Florida. A dust devil turned umbrellas into missiles, pulling them high into the air, sailing above beachgoers who could only look on. Dust devils can form in areas with hot surface temperatures, usually under clear skies and light winds. And today is finally the day. 2 giant pandas make their public debut at San Diego Zoo. The governor proclaiming today California Panda Day. The stars of the show taking it all in, seemingly unfazed and doing what pandas do, relaxing and chomping on their bamboo. The bears are the first to arrive in the U.S. from China in more than 20 years. When we come back, America strong, Maui rising 1 year after the devastating fires. Finally tonight, America strong, Maui strong, exactly 1 year since the devastating fires. And our Becky Worley, who grew up on Maui, is there with the rebuilding efforts, the hope after the heartbreak.
At the water's edge, north of Lahaina, it's sunrise, August 8th. This morning, people gathering for a ceremony called Hi'uvai, to cleanse yourself in the ocean. And later, a paddle out. Those who love this town coming together in the ocean in a unique expression of remembrance. 102 lives lost, and so many lives upended. Above Lahaina, we see the progress. Community leader Archie Kalepa.
Getting a bird's eye view, it gives people hope. It gives people the idea that maybe I can go home soon.
People like Nellen Cisar, who is rebuilding. 1 year ago, she evacuated to a road above the town.
We can see our house burning.
Living in a hotel room for 8 months, now in a temporary rental. But she and her husband are returning to the spot their home once stood.
Our living room here, dining room here.
Sacred Heart School, where I once went, still in rubble.
I didn't even recognize this. So this is where I went to 2nd grade.
Since the fire, students and teachers making do in outdoor classrooms. But just this week, Sacred Heart's welcoming 185 students to their new semi-permanent campus.
We were breaking ground in January, and here we are in a new school.
One of their first assignments, writing gratitude cards to mahalo, or thank, local firefighters. They'll deliver these today on the 1 year anniversary of the fire. And tonight, that famed 151-year-old banyan tree showing new signs of life, too. Thanks to conservation and restoration efforts, parts of it are not only healing, but now sprouting hundreds of new leaves. There is new life and new hope all across Maui, 1 year after the fires.
So glad to see that. Our thanks to Becky. And you can see much more of our special reports on Maui tonight on ABC News Live and tomorrow evening right here on ABC. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Lindsay Davis. Good night.
Thank you for making World News Tonight with David Muir, America's most watched newscast.